Okay, folks, welcome back. Have a different set of palm trees up here because the trunks are drying. The super pokey ones. Actually, a lot of the stuff dripped to the bottom. So I'm gonna move them. I'm gonna move them around here a little bit. Okay, so we're going to paint the all of these, of which we have one. I don't know, I want to call those cabbage palms. I'm not sure, but that's what we're going to do. So we have this will be the other set that is coming, which has the more pokey palms and this is a variety. You got the little pineapple ones. And some of the tall, pokey ones, and these. And then I think the other palms that I have are all similar styles like I have, except for the ones that came with the org memory, which are just like a bunch of oddball, like no two palms are the same kind of thing. So we did paint the Lone Star here. This lone single one that it broke off. I might as well went ahead and put a magnet on it. Might as well be by itself, so one guy can hide behind it or something like that. Okay, so let's kind of dissect what's going to happen here. I'm going to put these into groupings of different sizes that we have. Let's see, let's use the super readers. This is a really, really tall one. This is the one that broke. Which it's going to be shoved. It's going to be shoved in one of these groups, anyways. Okay, this one as well. And the real baby ones. Okay, and that one is there as one of these. And was this a tall one? I guess it was. I could glue it together, but I kind of like the idea of one broken. And part of it like this be, and the other one would be on the ground with a, I don't know. I could glue it. All right. All right. Small, extra small, small, medium, and large. All right, let's get the frond situation here straightened. All of these have a bottom set of these. And yes, they are bright and yellow and kind of like a parrot type color, so to speak. I think they all have. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Do I have 15 of these? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't have that many. What's going on? What's the meaning of this? All right, maybe the little ones. We're not going to put any of those on. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to set the little ones off to the side. Let's do the next group. Okay, let's grab the smallest ones that we have. Is it these three? Nope, here's a real little one. Oh, here's a little one inside. Ah, okay, I see what's going on here. They're hiding. Why are you hiding? Okay. Now what do we got? 1, we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. What's going on here? We're getting a power blackout? Okay, now, I mean, we got no storms here or anything. Hey, Hoffman. How you doing? Maybe it's the light. Getting a hot light going bad. Well, which is another small... Well, I'm not going to worry about which was the other small one. These are the really... We're just turning the world into a palm tree. We just need a big Godzilla in here. Just... You know. We're going to the Pacific. We're doing all the terrain first, though. We're going to do all the terrain. I can totally see paint the troops and like, I don't know what to do about the palm trees and move on to something else. And I got Japanese troops with no terrain for them to fight in, so. We're not going to do that. Okay. Let's put this away. How are you doing? You got some kind of writing assignment you're having to work on today? Hopefully not. Well, you like writing. That's what you get. I'm the one that doesn't need a writing assignment. I mentioned that on the show this morning. This morning, I had somebody that contacted me. It's like, hey, how did you make this? Whatever it was that I was making. I'm like, I don't like writing things for people because I don't enjoy writing. And then only that one person sees it, maybe, right? And then somebody else asks the same thing, and then I got to write it for them again. It's like, I don't like that kind of shit. That's just a waste of time. If you can't watch my video, my 20-minute video, then I don't need to write out what I'm doing 50 different times, and then nobody sees. That's why I stopped doing my blog. I had a WordPress blog that I would put all my miniatures on there, and describe what I did, and nobody comments on it. So like, am I pissing my life away on it? Now this, if I do this and nobody comes on this show, well, this is what I need to do. I'm trying to do this. But the other stuff, I don't need a writing assignment. You watched your palm tree video. It got me searching 1/700th palm trees. Found a great site for 700 vehicles, trains, tanks. Oh, really? Well, back in the day, there was a company called, and they may still be in business, called Skyway. And they were Japanese. Everything 1/700th scale used to be Japanese. And I'm talking about early 90s. Late 80s, early 90s. And they made cool stuff like dock accessories, but a lot of it was like geared kind of like towards like dioramas. Now they did have like loose tanks and stuff, but I don't remember what tanks they had. They may have had like generic tanks, but they made modern stuff, and they made, the Japanese companies that build ships in 1/700th scale, they're the opposite of the ones that build tanks. And tanks, it's like German, occasionally something else. And the Japanese companies are like Japanese. Which, unfortunately, the Japanese Navy ships are almost always not camouflaged. So you end up having a bunch of things that all look the same. I need to sort these as well. There's 4 different grays. Sasebo and different depending on which dockyard they used. Kure and but they're all dark gray. They're all dark gray type colors. Trying to be methodical about this. I only searched it for last, but found a great site. 700 palm trees. That's probably really that's really small. That's very small. Well, some of these palm trees may not be in the Pacific, but they are on this island or in this landmass. I don't know whether it's a certain island or it's or a shawarma. As opposed to Burma, it's shawarma. And we're still looking for where that last little one is. Okay, no worries. It'll turn up. Worry not, little tree. Yeah, I gave these all a detergent wash. That's why they're apart. I'm trying everything I can to make sure these things are durable. I don't waste my time painting this stuff on them. All right, now I think I'm just going to start with this color. I'm not going to use that darker one. That way, the other palms are a little different. These remind me of those Washingtonias we used to have. Of course, the Washingtonias are prickly like this, but they got fronds like these. Sounds like a shawarma. It makes you hungry. That's right. I can't ever I forget which one that is. I like all those Mediterranean type things. My daughter really likes falafel. I'm not a huge fan of falafel. I feel like it's got to have meat in it to be satisfying. Not that I hate vegetables or anything, but oh, there's Barnes, my favorite white man. It's like a more complicated Middle East taco. You know, tacos are kind of like hot dogs. Uh-oh, here we go. No, I don't eat them out. If you go to a place that's fancier, I don't mind eating tacos. Hot dogs, I don't eat out. They're just too expensive for what you get, you know? Tacos at home, those Tex-Mex oh, freaking love those things. Now, there's one place in town, here, in this little town, actually, that's run by Filipinos. And they have and it's a Mexican place, but it's a what style they call it? I think they call it Baja style. And those are excellent. They're really small, but they're really good. You know, it's like I can eat 12 of them, and it's like oh, they come in sets of 3. It's like oh, well, I guess we won't have 12. I thought you were calling things you had to apply to wash too. Washingtonians. And I thought you'd lost it a bit. No, that's pretty fucking brilliant though. There, yeah. I'll tell you what. When I run my business here out of my closet, you can run my advertising. That's great though. Now you're a step ahead of me already. You're already planning some marketing for me. No, they're Washingtonia palms. I don't know why. I can read nowhere. Street tacos, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it's a fan. It's a type of fan palm. Let's see. This is what we used to have. Used to have these in the front yard. That's about how big we got them. I mean, that's not mine. This is just off of, you know. And if you don't trim the stuff on there, they look like a snuffleupagus. They look like a damn hippie tree or some shit like that. So you got to take all that stuff off, and you're left with these. They almost look like belts, right? Like you could pull one out, but it's kind of held in by the other ones, and the end of those are like a sawtooth. You know, but they just got too tall. I mean, well, you know, over 15 years, I mean, they got to be like, I couldn't trim them. I had to call a trimming service for them, you know. But they were happy there. We got rid of some shitty little turkey oaks that probably would have fallen over anyways. You know, little trees, and palmed it up. I'm like, I want a frickin' palms in my yard. And we're only left with one, and the guys, the people that bought the house from California, chopped it down. I thought people from California were supposed to be tree huggers. Maybe they got kicked out. I don't know. The Stumpy wasn't hurting nobody. All I got is my plastic palms now. Is the paint rack new? This one? No. Neither one are. This is the original one I had at the old house. Okay, I had the light that came in through the back, and I had one of these on one side, and I had this one flipped the other way because it's one on top of the other. This is actually supposed to be a yikes. I hope we don't have a situation here. I don't really like what I'm seeing here. Hold on one second. That's a little better. Okay. They're actually supposed to be desktop organizers. Like this would be like at the front of your desk, and then this stuff, you know, this would be vertical, so you could put things in it vertically. So I invented something else with it. And then this is actually a product that's made for Vallejo style paints, which is the hardest thing I've ever put together. It's all made out of MDF that is such a tight fit that when I painted it white, because I didn't want like this brown and another thing white and another thing black. I'm like, you know, that's the chaos. The one in the front. This, well, it's not a paint rack at all. It's just a piece of styrofoam, if that's what you mean. It's just a piece of trash that I usually poke my stuffed airbrushing in. It's just foam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layer foam, 7 layer foam. Yeah. It looks like it's made out of that same material that, like, when you get the packaging, you can like pop all the little bubbles in. It's kind of like that. It's working okay for that. Get some of this underneath in case somebody looks at it. In case Marcus comes by and looks at the bottom of my palms, plays an upskirt on the palms. Washingtonians. That's fucking great. I love it. I love it. You thought about it before I did. Things I had washed. I love it. Okay. Next. No, but now you mentioned these are Washington. Oh, man. No, I mean, these look pretty good considering I am cutting corners. I figured this is something we can cut corners on. And the corner cutting is don't prime these things. That's adding a whole litany of steps right there. I did lay out all the palms I had, and I thought I had more than I do. That doesn't mean I don't have very many. It just means that I thought I had actually had more. And if I need more, how about we paint what we have before we worry about that? And we're making pretty good progress. Let's do a little bit of. These would be a kind to get a waxy surface, and this is exactly what it would look like. Kind of like an off-white. These sound really cool when it rains. And lizards love these. Lizards love they like to hang out up here. Yeah, because they attract they tend to attract ants. At least the kind we had. You know, they didn't have. I don't think that those didn't have any grapes. Not grapes. Whatever the hell they're called. Dates. You guys have a bank holiday tomorrow? Or does the UK have to work a full day? Those bank holidays you guys get are usually on Mondays, I think. Well, I noticed there was a few Pacific movies available to watch for free, and I may just take that up on it just for yucks. There's two. I've seen both of them before. I should probably wait to watch them with a daughter. Wind Talkers and I don't remember it being that bad. Maybe I just need to watch it again to realize how bad it is or something like that. That's what somebody's going to tell me. It's a terrible movie. I don't remember it being that bad. And then not Flags of Our Fathers, the other one. The letters from Iwo Jima. No bank holidays in England until August. Why is it called a bank holiday? Because what the banks aren't open, right? Well, doesn't everybody else have to work? And you're like, well, if the banks aren't going to open, then we're not working either. Because here, the banks take any excuse, and the post office not to work. Like every month has one. January you got President's Day. February you have Martin Luther King, or is it the other way around? Martin Luther King, I think, is on January, and President's Days, March. March may not have one. But it seems like every month has a day where if you mail ordered something, it's like, oh man, the post is going to come in the post. You're like, nope, gotta wait an extra day. Which, by the way, I'm supposed to be getting the shipment from Airfix. It's supposed to be on the way. This is a bit loose. This is a little discomforting. Not that I need it. Not that I need it at all. Royal Mail. Your parcel. Copy. Royal Mail tracking. Well, it said it was already in the U.S. And they give you this little Welsh flag, which I think this is. That just to put that on there, and you can access this site in Welsh. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it means. Oh no, let's go back to English. I like their flag, but screw that language. That's like, you need some vowels, dude. I heard somebody told me that was the language of thieves. I don't know what that means, but I only know one Welsh person, and he's awesome. I don't know how everybody else is. They might all be, thieves. Thick as thieves. Okay, this is the next size up one. It's dreadfully large. And Historicon ought to be coming up soon. Not that I'm going to go to it, but I see no reason to go there unless I'm going to shop for things, and I could stay home and shop for things. Is the Pacific in World War II even popular in Britain? I would imagine it's not. Sideshow theater kind of thing. really wouldn't think would be popular in England would be stuff like, Wild West stuff. I would expect things to be popular in the UK where, the UK was involved in it. Wild West stuff, American Civil War, like, well, I live in the U.S. and I don't care about either one of those two. I'd prefer doing Wild West to American Civil War. I imagine it's got to be rather annoying for you Brits to, with the Japanese attacking you, because like you guys like helped them build their navy and shit like that, and went and attacked you like that. And they remain loyal. They still drive on the wrong side of the road. Wild West particularly popular at the moment. I just, yeah, I think if the guns of that period excited me a little bit more, I'd probably like it more. But I never played Cowboys and Indians or anything like that, or Cowboys and First Peoples or whatever the hell it's supposed to be called now. Cowboys and those that aren't cowboys. First Peoples. Who's on first? Those people over there. Okay, I think I've cracked the code, and this little bastard's this one. Do we have a little one? I don't know that we do. These things aren't permanent, so. Boy, this thing's been abused. Yeah, that's why you get yourself some cheap ass brushes. You don't worry about that sort of thing. I think we'll be able to do all these and start working into detail on these things. I'm really curious to see what they look like. First peoples, except the Mesoamericans who were there first. Oh, is that right? Is that what the latest thing is? Is that the people came over the land bridge, but some guys came over the land bridge before the land bridge? Well, the natives of Central and South America, especially Central America, are rather interesting to me. The ones in North America, I wouldn't want to paint any of them. They're just a little too nomadic for my taste. So anything that involves like the Wild West Indians, not a fan of that. They lack. No, I can't be interested in everything. Oh shit, I never looked up the armored car scenario. Fuck, we'll just have to do that live. You gonna be on here for a little bit? We'll do that live. We'll look through some books. I don't mind doing that. I know which books they're not in. I wouldn't mind doing a very small Mexican frontier, 1800 type game. Napoleonic kits makes up some ragtag Spanish garrison forces. Yeah, ragtag would probably be an overstatement. I don't know. Our country went to hell when we had a French king. You know, it's like it's already going to hell anyways. You know, just a nail in the coffin. I think that's what they're called, a bourbon monarch. So you think, oh, that's because they're French? No, I think it was just hopped up on bourbon all the time. They didn't give a shit what happened to the country. It was right into the fucking ground. They had some of them that were okay, but I mean, you know. You know, they make a big deal out of that one guy that kicked the shit out of the British. Yeah. That one guy, Blas de Lezo. Yeah, he kicked the shit out of the British after the British kicked the shit out of the Spanish for 100 fucking years. You know, some guy who's not fucking handicapped. He's like 1730s. I mean, Spanish after the 30 Years War just downscope. A scenario with armored cars, one that's not too expensive. What else we got? We're getting into the large ones. What's the next smallest one? Say this. Two of those. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think those two will do. Soften up the plasticity of this, the look of this. Well, nobody commented about the horizontality of the video. I like it better. Of course, we don't get all the Nerdberg or cross traffic, but I don't know how useful that is anyways. It looks way better on PC now. Well, it was. Oh, on your PC? Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was filmed on my end on PC both times. Good. Well, we're going to stick with this. Although I do miss the random people with the, "What you doing?" I don't know. Maybe look, maybe read the description of the video. What you doing now? Where you go? Oh. Running out of sports. Ooh, still got some goopage there. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna be right back. All right, let's go grab one of them books. Oh, I got live paint. I don't give a shit. This paint's damn near free. Damn near free paint. Let me pour myself a non-adult drink. A child's drink. It's a soft drink. Okay. All right. I'm not even going to look at the Normandy First Hours book. That's a terrible book. Don't ever buy that book. That book sucks. You can quote me on that. Oh, this is the book that Tony says sucks. Yep, that's the one. All right, we're looking for armored cars. Let me get a little table over here. Here, one of the best books. Heroes of Omaha and Panzer Lehr. One of the best ones. Easily one of the best ones. And because it's got Americans in it, it's good. North Star doing metal zombies in 20 mil for a rule set called Country Road Z, which looks suspiciously State of Decay-esque. What a bizarre choice unless they want to use Matchbox cars in it. Yeah, I don't know. You mean, what a strange choice for them to do 20 mil? Yeah. State of Decay. Get all the Wilkinsons and the cannibals. The Wilkinsons cannibal guys. Did you play all the stuff? Remember there was that one, I forget which one it is, where you can either play the girl or the dude, and you go back to the town, and the whole town has like, it's overgrown with like these walls, these zombie walls. Oh man, that was a pain in the butt to deal with it. You gotta go in with heavy ordnance. I took some casualties in that one. Let's just put it that way. I definitely took some casualties in that. Skirmish campaigns. All right. Armored cars only. It should be easy to find. They're almost always going to be in the optional section. Bluff at Easy Green. No armored cars there. Heck, there's no vehicles there. No armored cars on Ranger Relief. No. Grand Comp. No armored cars. Bocaz HQ. This has got to be a really weird... Let's kill this. There we go. This has got to be a really weird map. To have your board that's set up like that. Like, what's going on here? Is there like a bluff here? Like a cliff face that you can't see around it? Yeah, because I'd be like, I want to have a guy here and attack across this corner. But you can't. Or APCs? Okay. Still haven't encountered any. There's definitely some of both. Let's see. No APCs. Nothing. Nope. A Sherman. Purple Heart Hill. No vehicles on that one. I've got all the troops for it. Now here's it. See, this is what I mean. The scale of this game is wrong. This is supposedly 4x8. Now, look how dense that is. That is a lot of stuff going on. That is just a cluster. I wouldn't take a vehicle down that road. You gotta be... That's suicidal. H-A-U-T-S. Hovent. Is that how you say it? Hot vents? Is that Hovent? Sounds like something you say with somebody, you sneeze and somebody goes, bless you. You go, Hovent. What do we got here? Okay, now we start getting interesting here. Okay. So, the Germans all have a bunch of dismounted infantry. Truck here and there. The Americans have elements of Task Force X, Combat Command B, 3rd Armored Division, They have an M8 Greyhound, 3 Shermans, an armored infantry command squad mounted in on a half track, another armored infantry squad that comes in on a half track, and then an armored infantry machine gun squad that comes in on a half track. So that's 3 half tracks, 3 Shermans, and an M8 armored car. And they can have artillery, they can have variable support of 2 more M8 armored cars. Yeah, what's their objective? Let's see. Prevent U.S. victory conditions. Okay, so they're end of turn 10. Roll a d4. On 1 to 3, play continues for the game number of turns indicated by the die roll. On turn 4, the game ends immediately. All German forces start in foxholes. These may not be placed on roads. Yes, that's a nice little group. You got 3 armored car, three half tracks with 3 Shermans and an armored car. Hot Vets is an Indian restaurant. North Star does Gasland stuff too. Gaslands in Africa. That'd be a lot more interesting. Look at this map. What a shit show. Oh, is it the same map? It might be the same map. Actually, one of these has 3 scenarios that are on the same map. That's useful. Yeah, it's the same map. Morning of the 902nd. Yeah. But who the hell is the 902nd? Damn paratroopers? Sounds like one of those. Oh, 902nd Panzer Grenadier Regiment of Panzerlehr. Okay. Well, yeah, this is a counterattack. So the Germans have 3 Panzer IVs, a Panzer III flamethrower, an SDK of Z251/9. So that's the half track with the 75 millimeter gun, a short 75. 2 Panzer Grenadier squads, each in a 251/1. And a SIG 33H. H. That's one of those 150 millimeter guns on a Czech 38 chassis. And they can also get artillery support, 2 Panzer Grenadier recon teams, which come in 250/1s. Nothing fancy about them. They don't have the 20 millimeter cannon or anything like that. Just 250/1s. They can get a Panzer Grenadier squad, another one with the 251/1. And the Americans have their half tracks went away. They no longer have half tracks. 2 Shermans, 2 M10 tanks destroyers, an infantry squad, an infantry company HQ, a Zuka team, medium machine gun. However, they can get 3 M8 armored cars that enter on turn D4+1. Oh, a group of 3 armored cars, a group of 2 armored cars. You get an M16 half-track. That'd be handy. Unless it comes across a Panzer IV. Oops. That's no good. But Shermans and M10s can fight Panzer IVs to a standstill. That flamethrower is nasty on that board, considering it probably goes about 2 feet away. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. This is Heroes of Omaha and Panzerlehr. It's just probably the best book of all of them, in my opinion, because it's got vehicles. It's got combined arms. The scenarios aren't massive. They don't have a shitload of vehicles. And here's the third scenario called Direct from Detroit on the same map. Yeah. I guarantee this has got a shitload of vehicles. I'm going to guess they have at least 5 Shermans. Yep, that's exactly what they have. Now the Germans only have 1 Panzer IV, a 251/9, 1 Panzer Grenadier squad that is not mounted on a half track. So the half tracks go away. As soon as they find out they're on the defense, the half tracks leave. Like, we're not sitting around for this. A Pack 40. And they can't get any more vehicles of variable attachment. Sniper team, MMG team, Shrek team. But the Americans have 5 Shermans and a Greyhound. And 3 infantry squads, all mounted in half tracks. That's interesting. I never really realized. Whoever's on the defense, they don't get the half tracks. Guys on the offense get the half tracks. I mean, unless it's a half track that has like a 75 millimeter in it or something like that. Lair Recon. Lair Recon is a great scenario. I've never played it, but I've wanted to. For starters, it's at night, okay? And it's on a 2x4 board. And somehow there's a hill that is only about, that's right here. So this hill is only about, it's less than 12 inches by 12 inches. So calling it a small knoll is probably an overstatement. But it takes part at night. And the Germans have a recon headquarters team in a Horch car, a Panzer recon team in a 251. Oh, 2 Panzer recon team, 2 Panzer recon teams in 251s. And then the variable attachment is they can have a Puma, they can have a 250/9, they can have a 251/9, or a Stug. And the U.S. has 2 ad hoc 4-man infantry teams that are based around a BAR. So really 8 men. A Zook team, a medium machine gun team, and a battalion staff. Oh, they can't have a headquarters. I thought they could have an armored car in this scenario. They can't. They can get a flamethrower team. That'll wake somebody up. So recon vehicles only on one side, and not many. I mean, you get 1 Puma, like woo. Panzer Ace. Here's another one of these corner cutting scenarios. You know, you've got this extension, but you know, I don't know what's going on in this space, but this is, you know, this is like World War II Fortnite. You can't go in there, you're dead. No, I don't play Fortnite, but I know about that. I tried to play Fortnite. That's a fucking joke. Nope. Panzer Ace. This is the one with who is this Nazi stooge? It's not Barkhorn. Barkhorn, I believe, was an SS dude. Extra dick. It's some Panzerlehr guy. Anyways, he's sitting in a Panther A, Stug, a Horch car, 2 Panzer Grenadier squads, and a quad flak. Not self-propelled, so pulled by a tractor, by a truck. And then odds and ends supplies. And the U.S. have 1 M10 tank destroyer, a bazooka team, an infantry squad, an infantry fire team, MMG, 57mm anti-tank gun. And they could have an M10 tank destroyer with artillery support, an M10 tank destroyer with an infantry squad, or an armored infantry squad with a half-track which enters on turn 1 plus D4. Yeah, so there's some options there. It's pretty interesting that the American forces in here are just as... One of the things that makes the German forces really interesting generally in most games is they have this little Kampfgruppen type of thing. And the Americans pick up this Kampfgruppen thing really quick too. All these scenarios almost always have. We got one of these and one of these, and a bazooka team and a light sniper team and MMG. So you got that little mix and match thing with Americans as well. You know, damn, I might do this scenario as is and get more World War II 15 millimeter. Well, in 20, this is a great book. This is probably the best book. The book for Fallet is also really small scenarios, but they have a lot of scenarios that don't appeal to me. Like, for instance, I'm fine with Canadian scenarios. I'm fine with British scenarios. Poles, you're using British-looking guys with British-looking vehicles, but we're going to call them Poles. It's just kind of shame. It's a shame, you know. And there's some scenarios with French in them. Well, that just takes the pole thing and just takes it to a factor of 10. The same unappeal that I have of it. But this is, if you had to buy one of these books, this is the one to buy. Kampfgruppe Scholze. Battle group. Well, I said Kampfgruppe. Yeah, same thing. I translated in German for you so we can all understand. 4 fucking Panthers. Yeah, this is a huge scenario. Yeah. Now remember, this is what the scenario looks like, right? So what kind of open lines of fire do you have? Well, you might have something coming down this road. Oh, hold on, it's backwards. Coming down this road, you put some tank here and it wants to shoot all the way down here toward the crossroads. Other than that, you got a field that might be 24 inches a long distance across it. Right? This is like almost 2 feet. Surrounded by bocage. That's like the biggest line of sight other than down the damn road. And the problem is that the Germans have 4 Panthers and 3 Panzer Grenadier squads. And the U.S. have 2 M10 tank destroyers and 5 Shermans. There's going to be some. I hope you brought your hedgerow cutters. You're gonna be uprooting some hedgerows. Oh, and the horizontal video has the video right way around again. It's correct, right? Yeah, it's my phone. When I film with the phone reverses it, and there's nothing I can do about it. So as long as I don't film with the phone, we're good. And there's no way to unreverse it unless I film it, and then when I go to edit, then reverse it. But if it's live, you can't reverse it on the phone. I don't know why. I don't know why something so simple. I could add a green screen, something I'm never going to do, and it's super complicated, but I can't reverse the video. Like, I don't want the video reversed. Just play it so people can see it the same way. And that's it. That's it for this one. The desert one. Okay, I got all the terrain built for this one. A bloody fucking road at a diagonal. 4x8 board. Encounter at Sidi Suleiman. I started at the back and moved forward. Yeah, Germans are hosed. Yeah, Encounter Sidi Suleiman. That's 4 Matildas and 2 Cruiser Mark IV and 4 Cruiser Mark IIs, which I guess are what, A10s? 4 Matildas and 4 A10s and 3 Mark 6Bs. And the Germans have a 263 HQ. That's like that staff thing that's enclosed with a machine gun. A 231 armored car, 2 Panzer III H's, and a Pak 38. And then they have an armor section that enters on turn D4 of 4 Panzer III G's and 4 Panzer II C's. They can't hurt a Matilda. You can't hurt a Matilda with that. None of those vehicles can hurt the front of the Matilda. The Pak 38 gets the closest, and I don't think it can use. It has a Pak 38. The team has 6 plus D6 rounds of 50 millimeter ammunition. You can't hurt a Matilda with that. So here's the interesting thing is the variable attachments for the British, the variable attachments for both forces in this scenario are not forces, they're victory conditions. So for instance, the Germans are elements of Gruppe Herf. Instead of a Nerf gun, it's a Herf gun. If you roll a 1 to 6, commander's in peril. If the 232 is knocked out, the British player receives 3 additional victory points. Well, there is no 232 in the scenario. So they probably mean the 263. Brazen, they really should proofread their own stuff here. Brazen Commander, 7 to 12. If the 232, again, should be the 263, exits the German optional exit area fully operational, the German player receives 3 additional victory points. Just floor that thing. Just floor that armored car and get off the damn board. Trouble on the flank. That's 13 to 20. The armor section, okay, the armor section is the 4 Panzer IIIs and the 2 Panzer IICs. And the four Panzer IIIs and the 4 Panzer IIs that come in on turn D4. The armor section had to slow to deal with a flank threat. It automatically enters on turn 4. Deduct 2 rounds of ammunition or turns of fire from each vehicle in the armor detachment. You got to take off more than that. That's like, oh, it starts off with 4 plus D4 rounds of AP ammunition. Well, these guys have been fighting for a while because Panzer IIIs can carry like 80-something rounds or something like that. So they haven't got supplied in a while, that's for sure. And then the British, remember, they got 4 Matildas and they got 4 A10s, and then the 3 little machine gun tanks. 1 to 5 forward guard. 2 of the Matilda 2s may start on board within 18 inches of the British entry area. 6 through 10, they shall not pass. The British player receives 3 victory points if no German vehicles exit the board area via the German optional exit area. Distant friendlies. On turn 5, the German player is informed that light British forces are moving off to the east. On or before turn 8, the German player must dispatch 2 fully operational Panzer IIs or 3s to counter the threat. These vehicles must exit the board headed east. If the German player does not respond to the threat, the British player receives 5 victory points. 16 through 20. Muddled command. The British player must exit 2 Matildas or cruisers off the board to the east on or before turn 9. If the British player does not comply with the order, the German player receives 5 victory points. You can play these in a series. Not really any armored cars there. Bardia Road Airfield involves Bersaglieri's versus British, and they're just entrenched. One of the coolest scenarios in here that definitely would be useful for using into something else. Fort Capuzzo, again, you've got guys who are just sitting there waiting. However, the Germans have an 88. Which doesn't arrive immediately. Of course, they're facing 6 Matildas and 6 Mark II Cruiser A's. So 6 A-10s with the close support howitzer and 6 Matildas. And I don't care how many Panzer IIIs they have. Panzer III can't touch them. It's not until the 88 shows up. Special rule 88 on the way. If the German player passes the first defensive integrity roll, no further rolls are taken. An 88mm gun is en route to shore up the defenses. The gun enters on the optional 88mm gun entry area. It takes 2 turns to set up. It does not need to be unhitched from the SDK of Z7. Yeah, so it basically shows up behind the fort here. You got these walls that are here on the fort. This isn't the one I was talking about. There's one where there's all these wrecks. Benghazi rear guard. You got Australians ambushing an Italian convoy, and they got to go through that gap. They got a gap here. That's like a freaking disaster. The King Zone is what this is called. So it looks like a blank map like this. And there's British entry locations. There's German entry locations. You got a British entry location, German entry location, British entry location, German entry location, British entry location, and then there's a German entry location as well. British disabled tank location, British disabled tank location, British disabled tank location, British disabled tank location, British disabled tank location. So you've got these areas where there's disabled vehicles in them. And then you roll to see what they are. Okay? So if you look at British tank disabled location 1, you roll a d10. On a 1, a 6, or a 10, you don't get a vehicle. The other ones, you get a cruiser tank, and you either have 0 to 4 crew members there. Location 2, you're going to get a tank unless you roll a 7. And it's going to be, it could even be 2 Mark 6s with no crew members, or 2 cruisers with 7 crew members. What if it's a get the crew members the hell out of here kind of deal? British orders. Exit at least 4 AFVs off the eastboard edge with at least 6 tankers from the disabled tanks. Aboard AFVs or destroy 5 German AFVs. Well, what do they have? 3 A-13s and 3 Mark 6Bs. I got enough A-13s for that. Not painted, but yeah, that's kind of a cool scenario. Anyhow, let's get back to painting some palm trees. But yeah, I got like several Russian ones. No, Heroes of Omaha is the best one. It's not even close. Operation Epsom, I probably looked at the least. It has a lot of Scots and Churchills working together. Some Mark IVs. I don't think the Germans have anything other than a Mark IV. Which front of a Churchill's impervious to a Mark IV. I don't know if it is in the game, but it should be. I mean, a Churchill has a shit ton of armor. It's got more armor than a freaking Tiger. Maybe the early ones didn't, but and it should because it moves. It moves slow as crap, you know. Well, now they did something different. Skirmish Campaigns has done this thing where you can buy them PDF versions of them because I guess they were having a problem getting them out to people. So they're not really much of a discount because they're still $15, but at least you can get them immediately. But I've always thought, even if I don't play a scenario, I can build like the forces from one of them, and that'd be kind of cool, Like, three half tracks with squads and I think 3 Shermans is a little too much. 2 Shermans or something. 2 Shermans in an armored car, that kind of thing. My least favorite one of all of them. The only one of them that I would say sucks is Normandy the First Hours. Normandy the First Hours is just trash. It's either a naval invading and it's just Utah Beach. It's Utah Beach stuff. So it's like, well, I like Sword Beach stuff. Okay, well, you're not going to find Sword Beach stuff there. It's only Utah Beach. Which is the least interesting of all the beaches. I'm sorry, it is. From scenario standpoint. You know, somebody gave me a copy of some of the ones from Easy 8 Enterprises, the scenario books. And the scenario books by anybody that I've seen other than these folks are just really, really crummy. Too specific to be Utah Beach, yeah. It's just the problem with those scenarios is you got scenarios where the Germans have sometimes they're not even using Germans, they're using, Osttruppen, which is fine, but not very exciting. They can't hold a can. I mean, they're really crappy troops. Assuming they wanted to fight, they're really crappy troops. Osttruppen, and if you're lucky, some French vehicles. And I'm not talking S-35s, I'm talking like H-35s. Hotchkiss and Renault type things, which, are fine in 1940, but it's 1944. So really poor troops. They don't have any scenarios with, Gotz von Berlichen, which is the only, or the paratroopers. That's the 2 units that they fought over in the Utah Beach area that were decent. The Fallschirmjägers and then that 17th SS Panzer Grenadier Division when it finally got around to showing up, which didn't have any tanks in it. It just had Stugs in it, which are fine, but some may even argue they're probably better. Well, unless you got to turn the turret. So, a lot of the American tanks are like, they've got snorkels on them and weird shit. Those DD. I don't mind the snorkel things. I think they actually look kind of cool. The breathing devices that come in behind the turret. I don't like the DD fake, curtsy, pull your skirt down type thing. I don't like that shit. Those look silly. And they make another North Africa one called Fortress Bardia or something like that. But it's all Australians, which I got nothing against Australians, but they're fighting Italians. Like, at the very beginning, I'm like, that's not too exciting. And it's supposedly at Bardia. bother you say? Okay. We should have larger ones and smaller ones. They look to be almost the same damn size. Well, this looks like a bigger one. This looks like a bigger one. And this looks like a bigger one. And this is probably the other bigger one. Okay. Let's go and do the big ones. This is definitely misshapen, but, you know, palm trees are, you know, they go every which way. One of these should be bigger than the other ones. It's this one. I'm gonna go ahead and install all these while I'm at it. There's not enough dry brushing that goes on with these things for I can't reach. Yeah, just putting that clear coat on it makes all the difference. The paint's not rubbing off. Whoa. We don't need that to happen. Alright, I'm going to use the restroom and I'll be right back and we'll knock these guys out. Yeah, they look. There's not a whole lot of weathering on these, but there's just enough, especially when we do the clear coat on them to make them stand out. And I'm telling you, one of the things that's really distracting is having this on a background that just, you know, you got paints behind it, or you got this white thing, it just doesn't look at it. You get out of that environment, it looks a lot better. I'll be right back. Yeah, the Utah beach is definitely the least exciting of the beaches. Not trying to upset any veterans, just saying, you know. I'm sure it's somebody else's favorite beach. Oh, I can't wait to find out about Utah. Ooh. All right. Yes. I'm surprised that, you know, they say, oh, they can't make things here in America, so they're too expensive. This is like the cheapest paint's the one made in America. There it is. Wrong excuse. These look like the palmettos that we have all over in the wilderness areas here in Florida. Of course, they're not this tall. But you can go on Google Maps and put up the option for looking at photographs that people took and get a real good idea of what some of this stuff looks like in different parts of the world. That I really haven't used a whole lot of it until, like, you know, now. Like, hey, I wonder what it looks like in New Guinea. You know, at least the type of trees and stuff that are there. Honestly, that looked pretty good. Come back and do it again, but I'm gonna do all these and nah, let's not do that. That doesn't work for me. Imagine if you had to spray paint this whole thing black, and then have to come up with all these colors on top of it. You'd never get done. Literally, you'd never get done. But do a make believe island is a perfect opportunity to use like one of those Japanese half tracks, whatever they're called. Honu, Hono, Honi, something like that. They look cool. They're probably a piece of shit. They probably, you know, break on the first chance they get. Hoku, I don't remember what the hell they're called. They look cool. They look really, really cool. They kind of look like those. What's the thing the Germans had that has the little the Maltier looking half track thing? Look kind of like that, like an enclosed half track, or a partially enclosed. I don't know. They look really cool. You know that German vehicle that's the half track that carries like the rockets on the back. That's a cool looking vehicle. I've always liked the look of it. Never had one. Don't need one, man. The minimum range of one of those things firing is like, several boards away, probably. I like how quick this stuff dries. If it gets on your fingers, it's like less than anything else. It's only the wash that's a problem getting on your fingers. Let me step away from this. Now you can't really tell really what they look like until you get them off this white base. And I'm not too worried about if some of this paint rubs off. Obviously we're going to seal this. But if some of it rubs off, it's not the end of the world. But the old me would have stopped doing these. I've done a couple of palms, been happy with them, stopped working on them, tried to figure out bamboo. I know that's no, that's not the way to do it. Go ahead. Oh, you got this down? Cool. Knock them all out. Right? You know how you're going to look like it. Then you only got one thing to worry about, and that's the bamboo. Which I got some pretty good ideas on how to do it. Just hadn't done it yet. Trunks seem to be pretty durable. I don't see any of that. I don't any of this dry brush coming off. And then the cool thing about it is, I'll spray these. If I still feel like they need a little bit more color, I'll come in, add dry brush in a few places, and spray them again. I feel like I'm spending the right amount of time on them. Let's pull a couple of these little nuggets out. I think they'll look really good. And this is one package. This is the first one. So we'll finish this up, and that'll be it for this session. If they fall over, it's not the end of the world. I'm actually going to stop right here. We'll leave these two all there. They look pretty good. They look pretty darn good. And it's kind of nice that, I don't know if this is the case, but these fronds are a different color than these. So that when I dry brush them, even though I dry brush them the same, these have a little bit more blue in them. I guess it's... looks pretty darn good. The more I look at it, the more I like them. All right, folks.